Most people think they know everything about Hillary Clinton, former First Lady, Senator, Secretary of State, and a two-time presidential candidate. But behind the headlines and the political debates, there's a connection that rarely gets any attention. It's something that has shaped her career in ways most don't realize, and yet almost no one talks about it. Before she became one of the most influential figures in American politics, Hillary Rodham was just a determined young woman from Illinois. She wasn't born into power or wealth, but she had ambition and an unstoppable drive. While most people remember her time at Yale Law School, what many don't know is how a single decision early in her career set the stage for everything that followed. Unlike many of her classmates who pursued high-paying jobs at prestigious law firms, Hillary chose something different, something unexpected. She went to work for the Children's Defense Fund, fighting for the rights of kids who had no voice. This wasn't just a job for her. It became a lifelong mission, one that would influence many of her policies years later. What's truly fascinating is that her connection to children's advocacy didn't end there. When she became First Lady, she didn't just focus on traditional duties. She took on healthcare reform, but more importantly, she played a key role in creating the Children's Health Insurance Program. This program has helped millions of children get medical care, yet her involvement in it often gets overshadowed by larger political battles. It was a defining moment, but it wasn't the only time she worked on issues that had long-term impacts, without much recognition. But here's where things take an interesting turn. Most people associate Hillary Clinton with politics, but few realize that her influence extends far beyond the government. There's a connection between her and some of the most powerful global initiatives that many don't see. Through the Clinton Foundation, she has worked on projects affecting millions around the world, from improving healthcare to expanding education for girls in developing countries. The foundation itself has been the center of controversy, but one undeniable fact remains. Its reach is massive, and her role in shaping these initiatives has been just as significant as her time in government. One of the most surprising connections is how her early work with children's rights led to unexpected partnerships. Over the years, she has worked with people on both sides of the political spectrum, some of whom were once her biggest critics. Even those who disagreed with her politically have found common ground with her on certain global issues. It's rare, in today's political world, to see someone who can be both highly controversial and yet respected in specific circles for their behind-the-scenes work. That's something that rarely gets discussed. Another aspect that people don't often talk about is her influence on young women in politics. Whether someone supports her or not, there's no denying that she paved the way for a new generation of female leaders. Long before women running for president became more common, she was breaking barriers that had never been crossed before. The fact that she remained in the political spotlight for decades, despite intense criticism, scandals, and setbacks, is something that speaks to her resilience. Few figures in American history have faced the level of scrutiny she has and still managed to stay relevant. But here's the real question. Why doesn't this connection get talked about more? Why do some of the most impactful things she's done get buried under controversy and political fights? Maybe it's because the world of politics is filled with distractions. Maybe it's because the most interesting stories aren't always the loudest. Or maybe, just maybe, some narratives are easier to sell than others. Whatever the reason, it's clear that her story is far more complex than most people realize. No matter where someone stands on the political spectrum, there's one thing that can't be denied. Hillary Clinton's influence is massive. Whether it's through her legal work, her time in the White House, her policies, or her foundation, she has left a lasting mark in ways that aren't always obvious. And that's what makes this connection so interesting. It's not about what's on the surface. It's about the impact that continues long after the headlines fade away. If you found this insight into Hillary Clinton's career surprising, there's plenty more to uncover about other powerful figures and the hidden influences that shaped their paths. So, don't forget to share your thoughts. And if you want to hear more fascinating stories like this, you know what to do.